Americans faced no such constraints. They were freelancers in the drug trade, able to move faster, take bigger risks, and pocket larger shares of the profits. Forbes epitomized this approach. He built a fleet of the fastest ships on the ocean, vessels designed specifically for the opium run. The most famous of these ships was the Antelope, a sleek clipper that could outrun Chinese naval patrols and British competitors alike. Forbes didn't just own the ship, he captained it, personally overseeing cargo loads worth millions in today's money. Each voyage was a calculated gamble. The profits were enormous, but so were the risks. Chinese authorities had begun cracking down on the trade, seizing ships and executing dealers. Pirates prowled the shipping lanes, and storms could destroy months of investment in a single night. But Forbes had nerves of steel and an appetite for risk that bordered on reckless. By the late 1830s, Forbes had established himself as one of the premier American opium dealers in Asia. His ships carried thousands of chests of the drug each year, each chest containing enough opium to addict hundreds of users. The scale was staggering. Conservative estimates suggest that Forbes alone was responsible for importing enough opium to addict tens of thousands of Chinese citizens. And he was just one player in a network of American merchants who had turned drug dealing into a respectable profession. But Forbes understood something that many of his competitors missed. The opium trade wasn't sustainable, Chinese resistance was growing, and the British were becoming increasingly protective of their market share. Smart money knew that the golden age of American opium dealing wouldn't last forever, so Forbes began diversifying, using his drug profits to invest in legitimate businesses back home. He bought shares in textile mills, invested in railroad construction, and purchased real estate in Boston's most prestigious neighborhoods. The opium money was being laundered through the American economy, transformed from the proceeds of addiction into the capital of respectability. The Forbes family wasn't alone in this transformation. Across New England, merchant families were making the same calculations. The Delanos, ancestors of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, built their fortune in the China trade, with opium profits flowing through their counting houses in New York and Boston. Warren Delano, the future president's grandfather, spent years in Canton managing the drug trade for Russell and Company, the largest American opium dealer in Asia. When Chinese authorities cracked down, Delano didn't retreat. He moved operations to more remote ports, bribed local officials, and kept the drugs flowing. The Astors, America's first great real estate dynasty, also had their hands deep in the opium business. John Jacob Astor himself may have avoided direct involvement in drug dealing, but his ships regularly carried opium as cargo, and his trading network provided the infrastructure that made the trade possible. When Astor invested his profits in Manhattan real estate, he was essentially converting drug money into American soil.